but I make sure I hit the record button after our last debacle, our
death experience.
Near-death experience.
Great though. It was a great
It would have been great if he was like, you know what, for that, I'm out.
I would have packed up all my shit. Y'all never would have heard from me again if that happened.
I'm so sorry. Can we do this again? If he was like,
Nah.
Welcome to The Divide with Mike and Corey, two diehard baseball fans who don't agree on anything. Which side will you choose? This is The Divide.
Welcome to The Divide with Mike and Corey.
Hopefully our disagreements one day bring us all together.
So stupid. So corny and so stupid. I hope our disagreements bring us together.
Yeah, I do.
Shut up, Porter! Hey, I'm just trying to have a little friendly conversation.
This is The Divide.
And we are back in studio Sunday, July 10th. We're both here in studio.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
I'm finally back. I'm excited to be back. But I wouldn't have minded doing one more show from Hawaii. That would have been great. The thing about being out, other than being away from doing the show and everything, just because we're workaholics and that's all we ever think about, is there is a little bit of a disconnect as far as like sports go, because the time difference is like so insane. So the 1 o'clock games, if I wanted to watch a 1 o'clock Yankee or Mets game, or even if I was slumming it and wanted to watch a Philly game, I'd have to wake up at 7 a.m. because it's a 6-hour difference.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So the 7 o'clock games are great. It's 1 o'clock, you're out, and you're just like, oh, cool.
Everything's a day game.
It is. I didn't get a chance to watch much of anything, which you're on vacation. You shouldn't, but it's like I never left. The Yankees are still in first place. Yeah. And the Mets are still in first place. But I'm not throwing shade at you, Mike, as much as I want to. But the Yankees have a little bit more wiggle room than the Mets right now.
Yeah, I'd say.
The Braves are kind of, Atlanta's knocking at the door a little bit. Phillies are still, I'm looking at it now, a few games, it looks like 8 or 9 or so behind. But I had this thought this week that I wanted to talk to you about and surprise you with it. I think the Mets need this. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think only being a few games ahead in this long July stretch is a good motivator for, do you agree? Do you think that too much cushion is bad for any team, let alone your beloved Mets?
Well, yeah, if you look in playoffs or think about what happened in hockey or even the NBA, like the top teams with these giant records and great success ended up faltering at the end. Obviously one of the greatest teams ever still won the NBA finals, but look at the Celtics, no offense, Germ. They trampled the Sixers and they trampled the Nets. So we both
Hey, we're talking about baseball now.
Yeah, but perfect prime example of sometimes it's not the greatest thing to have the best record going into the playoffs. Now, my concern is this is around that time that we're always playing meaningful baseball, and I think we have enough experience to say, hey, we know how to lose. No, I don't agree with that. I'm still hopeful that by the end of the 17 game stretch, we're looking at a 14-3 scenario. So the Braves are coming to town. Regardless, we'll still be in first. Just a matter how many games it will be when that series starts.
That's right.
However, it's getting concerning. It's obviously the Braves are right now the third best team in baseball. The Mets are the first best team in baseball. But much like the AL East, where I believe if the season ended now, there'd be more AL East members in the playoffs than any other division. I think 3 or 4 of you guys would get in.
There's right now, I don't want to say a 3-way tie because obviously some have played more games than others, but looking at it, there's the Rays, Red Sox, and Blue Jays are all neck and neck, and Baltimore's still Baltimore.
I've never seen that before.
And the Yankees are still up in double digits as far as games ahead. But like you said, and traditionally speaking, the AL East has always been that competitive division where as a Yankee fan, you guys are all going to hate me for this, but I could complain and be like, if you put the Yankees in literally any other division, it would never be as close. Some of these years we're losing to the Red Sox, the Rays, the Jays by a game or two to sneak into the playoffs. When if you stick us in any other division, it's like, the NFC West for football, and some of them are below 500 getting into or even the the NFC East
Right,
for football
right,
the last several years, where it's a 500 record and they're getting a playoff spot. You're like, give me a break.
But the
other
Eagles
thing-
prove that like with the Mets, it doesn't really matter. Like, yes, it's nice that the Yankees have this overwhelming record right now, but the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl on a 9-7 record. So it's a matter of when you get hot. Jacob deGrom's coming back. Max Scherzer just got back. It didn't, it's okay. We have time. And we're not even halfway through the season, so it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
I'm not predicting a collapse. All I'm saying is I think this short lead, so to speak, as far as games ahead, I think that only helps the Mets. It's sort of that aim small, miss small mentality of we don't have much wiggle room to make mistakes. You have to be on. Doesn't matter how many games in a row, day game into night game, traveling, whatever. They need to win, and having that attitude of we can't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, you know what it sounds like? Corey's saying that the Yankees are going to take their foot off the gas a little bit and falter later on in the season, maybe a little doubt.
We took our foot off the gas a little bit. We're only winning these games by like 1 or 2 runs, you guys. We're not blowing them out by a couple, so that's definitely taking our foot off the gas.
Well, my question to you, and I'm afraid to ask it because, like I said, I don't want to will anything to existence. Do you think at the All-Star break, the Mets are still in first?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
For sure.
100%.
I will have a meltdown on the air if we're not. Just so you know.
And like you said, with starting pitchers coming back, and this is the most well-rounded club you've had in how long now? So I may have shot you in the foot by saying that I'm fully confident in them. I don't know if that's a good thing at all.
That's a fair point.
But no, I'm confident in that. But we'll see what happens. You know what I'm not confident in?
What's that?
ESPN's decision to put a billboard with Jeter's face on it right outside of Fenway Park.
I love it.
So do I. Are you kidding me? I've been to Fenway one time, and the one time I went, I saw him play Baltimore because when we were up there, I just wanted to see a game at Fenway, and Baltimore just happened to be in town. I had a Yankee shirt with me. I had 2 Yankee shirts. One was this is the year Jeter was retiring, so it was the Respect Jeter shirt. That was a red shirt. It was the color red.
Okay.
The other one was your traditional Yankee blue. And my wife looked at me and was like, "Which one are you going to wear?" And I chickened out. I went with the red Respect shirt. Just because at a glance, some people knew it was a Jeter shirt, but I didn't want to sit there. I didn't want to be the guy with a Yankee shirt when they're not even playing the Yankees to get booed out of the stadium.
Yeah.
But the captain's documentary comes out the 18th. So we're 8 days out from this dropping. And this is going to be your kind of like your last dance, your Jordan, whether you love him or you hate him, because a lot of people didn't like Jordan either. This is going to be that, 2020's version of, or 2022's version of that. But his face is right outside of Fenway.
It's great.
And you've been to Fenway, and those streets are tiny, and that billboard is huge.
It pops. Yeah.
So anybody that has any sort of like animosity towards Jeter,
that's got to be a gut punch.
Ruins their day.
Yeah.
Well, Jeter's if it was A-Rod, then maybe. But I feel like Jeter's pretty much universally loved. Like, only the saltiest Red Sox fans are going to hate this, but they're still going to watch the documentary, right? Like, I think Jeter is one of those people that can kind of get away with that, where like people are, I just don't, you would think that it'd be burned down by now. Like, right. If Big Papi was posted outside of Yankee Stadium,
right.
That thing would be burned
A-Rod.
down.
I think A-Rod is more with that fight with Jason Varitek. I think A-Rod is very much more hated.
Oh, of course.
Boston.
And A-Rod doesn't have the accolades that Jeter has.
Right.
But
he
don't,
cheated.
let's not blur the lines and confuse respect for love.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You
like,
can respect him. You're not.
You can
don't want to see
respect
his
Tom
face.
Brady until you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you love. Like, I respect him. I
Right.
don't love him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's hard to deny. But I just picture that your typical Boston individual getting up in the morning, catching the train to work, and just walking out and look at the billboard and just like, and then just getting on the train. And
I was worried you're going to try that Boston accent again.
Oh God, no! I won't do it. I told everybody I wouldn't try that again.
When you
Wake
saw
up
it,
in the
I was
morning with your can of beans and your Dunkin' Donuts. No, I can't.
No, the other thing is Jeter this week had his premiere for his first episode, and he invited people to Yankee Stadium because the Yankees are in Boston for the weekend. And, a bunch of legends came out there. Help me out. The guy who stirs the drink. How come I can't think of his name right now?
The guy that stirs the drink.
Reggie Jackson.
Oh,
Jeez
yeah, sorry,
Louise.
Reggie.
Yeah. Mariano was there. I saw
Bernie. Was Bernie
Bernie
there
was
too? I
there.
saw
Bernie was there. They took a picture. And Willie Randolph. So there was a bunch of people, but those are the ones that came to mind. But Reggie, the reason why I couldn't remember what he looked like in the picture they took, he looks like he's 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's shrunk.
Oh,
I got to look up.
He
like
looks old.
he,
Man. I mean, I know he's a little
he
bit
is old,
older, but
yeah, he looks healthy. Like, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
he looks like somebody threw him in the dryer.
So-
So
yeah, these guys are not aging. They're not aging well.
yeah.
But then again, neither are we. But, well,
Facts.
you know who is aging well? Let's talk about him real quick because there's an insane stat that hit this week.
Right.
Seattle Mariners, Julio Rodriguez.
That's sick.
All
man.
right. Let me list the players in Major League Baseball history with 15 plus home runs, 15 plus doubles, and 20 plus stolen bases in their first 81 career games. This is the list. Here we go. Julio Rodriguez. End of list. So this kid has got spunk and he's
Yeah.
not slowing down. And we have to plug him. It's an insane stat that it's kind of reminiscent. I don't know. Because A-Rod was never a stolen base kind of guy.
Right.
But you take that stat out and you're like, is
Yeah.
this another
J-Rod versus A-Rod.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Is
kind of
this-
like it. And it's he's in the right uniform to kind of get that analogy going. But also like, it's a mind-blowing stat, any of them, right? So he's on pace for 30 home runs. He's on pace for 30 doubles. Stolen bases, 40-40, could he do? Could he be a 40-40 club member?
He might.
and-
Knock on wood if he stays healthy. I
yeah.
don't see why he's in.
Clear candidate in the running for rookie of the year for sure. But yeah, that's exciting for Seattle, and they don't have much to be excited about. So
Oh God, no, not,
Yeah.
not now.
I mean,
Really, I'm trying to
they're
look.
13 games out.
Yeah,
But what also sucks is like if they're like, oh, let's look at the wild card. It's even worse.
Dude,
It's like,
Remember that conversation we had about a month ago about, hey, maybe your team's not out of it with the new playoff format?
yeah.
Yeah, Seattle, your team's out.
I don't know. They're 3 or 4 games out of a wild card right now too. So you never know. But it's an exciting team.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
hey, as long as your team shows promise.
Right.
And it's not like they started the season thinking this is our year. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. Yeah,
they knew it would be a rough couple. And I think to have this kid show a little bit of life
Right.
and kind of see what
Listen,
they do
when
around him.
they made a ton of trades and they got a lot of blue chips, and now one of them's performing beyond what they expected for
I know,
sure.
and we'll see what they do. What trade deadline's coming up? Right?
Right.
A week, 2
Yeah.
weeks?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So we're right in that thick because they shortened that leash.
August 2nd is the trade
yeah.
deadline.
And then
so 3 weeks.
but again, you still have this. Even guys at teams like Texas that are 6 to 8 games out, like they're still kind of in it. They're not going to.
No, let's ride. We got to ride the J-Rod hype train, man. They're a game out of 500, thinking playoffs. Real quick stat: Julio Rodriguez has 13 home runs, 39 RBIs, and 44 runs in his first 79 career games. Another Mariners great had 13 home runs, 39 RBIs, 43 runs in his first 79 games. And that Mariners legend was Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. I mean, come on. There was no question on who else it would have been.
Yeah, that's amazing. But when you look at these teams, because right now the Mets are talking about getting Cruz from the Nationals, and the only reason why they would be able to do that is because the Nats are 15 games out of a wild card.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
looking to figure out.
But we'll
They're
see.
looking to figure out next year. We'll see. So coming up, we have the Met Sox ? Mike's going to explain that ordeal. We're going to talk about how ridiculous all-star voting has become. If you remember a couple weeks ago, guys, I was all for the voting process, but I'm not anymore. I'm changing my tune a little bit. Also, we're going to talk about Chris Sale's absurd meltdown in the minors. Catch it next on The Divide. This is Fox Sports The Gambler.
Baseball season normally brings us together, unless you're listening to The Divide. Now, here's Mike and Corey.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Let's jump in. The Met Sox. Mike, what in the HE double hockey sticks is the Met Sox?
Okay, since baseball makes this whole voting process of the All-Star game, I don't know who enjoys it. I've never met a fan that's like, oh, this is so much fun. I can't wait to vote for my favorite player. The Red Sox and Mets have realized that, hey, we could use each other's fan bases to get our guys in. So the Mets, Starling Marte, Pete Alonso. Who's it? Is it who is it for Boston?
Rafael Devers.
Yeah. All are in the running for this final round into the All-Star game.
Which actually it ended July 8th.
Right.
So yeah, they basically were all in the finals. So to speak.
Yeah. So they decided that they were going to create this Twitter coalition called the Met Sox, and I don't like this move. I think it's terrible.
Was it just on Twitter?
It was just on Twitter. It got big on Twitter, but yeah, they've sent out flyers. I saw an email with all three of them on there saying like, let's get us all in. Like, it's just like, I get it. But the fact that the voting is so skewed that you're now reaching out to other clubs to help your cause is remarkable. Like, it just goes to show nobody's voting for the right. Like, I'm sorry, but you could easily argue that Goldschmidt deserves the starting position over Pete. You could argue that. You know what I mean?
You could argue anything.
Yeah,
that's
but
what we love doing here.
Having extra fans voting for you, and also I want to know how many fans actually voted for that wouldn't have voted. Like how many
people
extra votes they got because of that.
But my thing is, I was all for this process. I don't mind your American Idol type. Yeah, vote for your favorite player. I don't care if you think he's good looking or if you just like the way he plays baseball. I don't care what your reason for voting. Mm-hmm. And if it was like a legit fan club, like, a Boston fan club, someone said, hey, everybody on some forum, let's get together and vote for this guy. I think as a professionally run Twitter for a Major League Baseball organization to, like you said, to do something like this, that's where you lose me.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? No. And not the reason I ask if it was just on Twitter, is Twitter even that strong of a platform for something like this anymore? Like, isn't TikTok or Instagram a stronger, I don't know.
Twitter in sports is nuts. Mets Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. I don't want to say it on the air, but that lady was like, you got, this is a violent place. And one of the guys replied, F you, lady.
That wasn't the Mets Twitter that replied.
But it's hashtag Mets Twitter is insane. And I'm sure most fan bases are. But if you follow that hashtag, people are losing their minds. Like, you would think our offense was the worst in all of baseball, the way Mets Twitter reacted.
Twitter is that spot where it used to be like, get all your news here, but now it's become like, hey, just say anything you want to say to someone that you wouldn't say to their face and see how they react.
Yeah. It's nuts, man.
Speaking of reactions, Chris Sale had a minor league game. He's rehabbing down in the minors now, and he played a Yankee farm team and had a complete meltdown, like the type of dugout meltdown we saw from Brett Gardner years ago that you see, guys, they grab bats, they throw them, they grab coolers. Sale was recorded. I guess he was ripping something off the wall in like the hallway leading to the dugout
with a baseball bat. It was nuts.
It was a true temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Which is absurd for where he was. Like, dude, you're in people paid $7 to watch you rehab, and you're destroying a clubhouse where the average player gets paid peanuts. The average manager makes between like 28,000 and 50,000. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And his response after the video went viral basically said, well, that's their problem. Quote, that's their problem for videoing it. If you want me to act like a normal person, treat me like a normal person. This isn't a normal atmosphere. If I was at Bank of America, that wouldn't fly. End quote.
Yeah, bro, you'd be fired.
Bro, that makes no sense, Chris.
It doesn't.
That's not normal baseball behavior. Like, throwing a glove across a dugout, or like, might I even say like tipping the water cooler and throwing cups or bubble gum or whatever. Yeah, but ripping fixtures off the dugout hallway wall, whatever you were doing, that's weirdo behavior, dude.
Yeah.
Like, get it under control, man. You're a pro athlete and you're acting like a baby.
Also, two things. Bank of America is videotaping you, right? So, and that would go viral. Like, an employee loses his mind at Bank of America. And by the way, he would lose his job. Right?
I just don't, he would, but his quote is stupid to the fact where it says, if you want me to act like a normal person, treat me like a normal person. What, you think videoing you is not treating you like a normal person?
Can we pay him like a normal person too?
Dude, if you acted like, exactly, if you acted like a normal person, no one would be videoing you. If you just went into the dugout and like had like, I don't know, some time to yourself, people started videoing you because you were acting like a lunatic.
But this wasn't his first time though. Remember in Chicago, he took the bat to the hallway. Like he calmly grabbed the bat. Like there's something deeper going on there. And for him to act like this in a minor league start that doesn't really mean anything. Nothing was on the line. Like, all right, man, you had some bad innings. Like, get over it, but I'm down with a little rage. Like you're upset with yourself. He's uber competitive, but to sit there and act like, okay, if I'm going to sit there and not act like, if I'm going to sit there and act like a 12-year-old, people are going to record me now. And then I gotta eat that. And I'd rather him just say, hey man, this is how I decompress. I like to smash things. So what? I hate when these guys try to do these roundabout apologies and these things instead of just calling it what it is. Hey man, I have this anger problem. And when I get mad at myself, I like to break things. And sorry, I broke it, but I'm rich. I'll pay for it.
Yeah. So there is something to be said about the place he did it, right? Mm-hmm. So a major league clubhouse, when you see a bad start, and the player just has either a bad inning or what have you, and they go off, that's a little bit more accepted than rehabbing.
They're doing it in front of their teammates, their colleagues.
I guess that's the one thing I don't agree with as far as how he's being judged, because my problem is like, dude, you're ruining this minor league thing that barely has money to pay for anything. And I imagine he'll end up paying for it. I mean, it's not like he can't. But one thing I will agree with him, it's kind of like, look, man, I act like this no matter what. So you guys need to get used to it. So I'm like, I get it. If that's your routine and that's your ritual, you're a pro player. Everybody's got their thing. You're not having a good outing. You got to go, like Germ said, you got to go in there and break some stuff, then go in there and break some stuff. But yeah, admit it. Hey, this is what I do in the majors. It might be frowned upon. I make sure I take care of it. I pay for everything, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But also like
Max has his own weirdo routine and stuff like that, and Max Scherzer, and he gets very he gets psycho tunnel vision when he's performing, and it's great to watch. The other 4 days when he's not pitching, like he's a normal teammate and he's teaching, helping, developing. But when he made his rehab start, he not only spent $7,000 on a meal for the guys that included dinosaur-sized steaks, lobster, you name it. He also sent them all. He had the clubhouse hand out AirPods to each and every player. So like he gave him a taste of what life is as a big leaguer. Chris Sale gave his team a taste of what it's like to be as a life of a big leaguer as well, but in a whole different fashion. So
maybe Chris Sale was mad he didn't get any AirPods in his locker.
Maybe
he doesn't deserve AirPods. He probably would have stepped on them anyway in a little temper tantrum. But it's like the difference between, it doesn't matter what level minor game to the big leagues is insane. It's like the difference between flying coach and flying first class.
Yeah.
Like first class is insanely better than coach. You get to sit down first. Like everybody's been, like you guys have all been on planes. You walk in, first class has champagne and they're getting food and stuff already. The first class flight attendants looking at you like, don't look at these people. They close the curtain like, you can't use this bathroom. This is there, but you know what I mean? It really is like modern day rich people stuff. But you talk the difference between pay and just amenities between minors and majors. Like take next up, we're talking about Rachel Balkovic from she's the head coach or manager of the Tampa Tarpons, the Yankee Farm Club, and she was the first female to ever be ejected this past week. She cursed at the ump, which I think is ridiculous. They still eject them for that, for cursing. You watch other sports like football and hockey, and they are cursing in the official's face, and the official's like, okay, get out. You curse at an ump, or you put dirt on their shoes, and they're like, that's it, you're out of here.
I
And
love
she was fine. Her fine, which is again ridiculous that they fine her or any manager for sticking up for their team, regardless of what they say. I mean, obviously, if it's something discriminatory or whatever, then yeah, take care of it by hitting somebody in their pocket or whatever works. But if you're just cursing, saying like that's ridiculous, and you add an expletive in there, but she was fined $50.
Yeah.
$50. Like, what's the point of that at that point? If you're doing a percentage of her salary, which again has got to be, I mean, net worth, her, according to the internet, which has to be true, her net worth is like $1 million, but her salary has got to be 60,000.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
And they're finding her.
I'd be shocked
$50.
if it was, I was, when you said you thought it was around that realm, I was like, okay, but I hope she's making that much.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's only because they say her net worth is that high. I can't imagine how you'd have that large of a net worth if you're making, the
60K.
peanuts.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I hope she ends up on the Yankees in a professional setting, like not in a major league setting. I should say.
I think what she would end up doing, I think she'll breeze through the minors, and I think when she does get promoted, it won't be it'll be some sort of position
base.
coach.
I'm cool with that, and but she's killing it. She's doing a great job. That team, I mean, literally, I don't know if I look it up. She got hit she got rocked in the face.
Oh, bro!
Like, yeah, it was nuts.
Good.
So she is a tough human being. And she's gonna really do great things for the Tampa Tarpons,
which is Germ just taught us that was a fish.
That was a fish.
I had no idea that was I was like a tarpon.
Oh yeah, no. FCC was about to get on us because our pronouncing in the pre-show was definitely going to get us canceled.
It was not good.
That ref had to be Angel Hernandez, right? Like, he's the only one that would be taken that seriously to to throw her out and fine her because he couldn't.
You got to watch the video too, because you don't really minor league baseball has terrible video. It's just like really just
it looks like high school.
Security camera, like above home plate, and you just see her casually walking across the field, and then the announcer's like, "I think Rachel was just thrown out of the game." Yep, I can confirm she was thrown out of the game, but she's just like walking, like, and it's she takes her time too, which I really enjoy that, because she wanted to thrive in the moment.
But so listen, this brings up. Don't you think it's about theatrics at that point?
A little bit. You're trying to get your team going.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about all of it.
Yeah.
From the ump's point of view and from the manager's point of view, guys. Right. Like, if you watch the video of Rachel, she literally, it honestly looks like it's in passing. She walks up, probably calls him something, and he's like, all right, see you later. You know what I mean? He points casually.
Right.
But most of the time, it's what? They're nose to nose. They're spitting on each other half the time, going back and forth with the hands and pointing to the base and all this stuff. It's just, that's all theatrical. And I get it's the same as like a hockey fight or anything else. You're sticking up for your team, and it does get the guys going. But it's just such an old dog and pony trick from both ends. And it just needs to stop.
I wonder how many managers have actually gone up to ump and was like, listen, you're going to have to throw me out of this thing.
I'm sure. I'm sure the percentage has got to be 70, 80, close to 90%.
Like, you're going to have to toss me. I need this one.
They're handing the coaches, managers, they're handing their cards to the pitching coach or one of the base coaches here. You're going to have to take this. And they go out there and they just know. I mean, I enjoy watching it, but I do think it's just such an old. It's just what's going to happen in 2 years when it's
all robots.
All robots.
Yeah, we could fight. Yeah, you ever see your dad fight with his phone? That's what it's going to be.
God.
This stupid thing doesn't work. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, Philly's going to love the robots. Remember when the hitchhiking robot made it all the way through Canada? You remember hearing about that?
No.
Years ago, there was this hitchhiking robot. It literally looked like a Frankenstein robot, and it was a computer. It said, "Hi, I'm a hitchhiking robot. Pick me up and take me to whatever you go." And then they would leave it somewhere. It made it like all the way across. I don't know if it was Canada or Europe. And then they were like, "Ooh, let's do this in the States." Dude, it made it through like New York. It made it through New Jersey. It gets to Philly, and it gets the crap beat out of it by Philly and like dismembered within a day, dude. Philly did work on that hitchhiking robot, bro. It was hysterical. It made it all the way to Philly. Which
on brand for the city.
There's so much fun things that happen in Philly.
There really is, man.
There's Philly, we have our own Jesus. I don't know if you know that. Like
Philly
there's
has their own
Philly,
Jesus.
Philly Jesus. I saw that at like a food truck event a couple years ago, and I was like, "Who's that?" They're like, "Yo, man, that's Philly Jesus." I was like, "You guys have your own Jesus?"
What?
Like, I swear.
What's
I
different
swear on
about
Philly Jesus. I don't know. Just some guy that kind of looks like the Messiah. Like he actually looks.
Oh no, yeah, he wears
Apart.
he wears the garments and everything.
Yeah.
Dennis Grant or Michael Grant, something like that. Like shout out to
That's
him.
his name.
Yeah, Michael Dennis Grant, and so he just runs around the city of Philadelphia giving out blessings.
Yo, it like looked like he was on his soapbox and people were just around him like he was entertaining them like with the saxophone, but it's him just being Philly Jesus.
Philly Jesus was playing the saxophone?
No, that'd be awesome. I'm
Oh.
saying like, you know how like you see a street performer?
Yeah.
Like that's how he was set up. Like he was a
Oh.
street performer. And I'm like, who's that guy? And they're like, that's Philly Jesus. I was like,
Yeah, he'll stand in the middle of the fountains, like down in Center City, and like when the water like shoots up, he'll raise his hands like he's actually doing it, and he'll like stand on one of those like hover.
Stop
That's
it
serious.
right now.
He like stands on one of those like hover things. Remember those things a couple years ago that was like all the kids wanted. He would stand
the
on one and just
hoverboards?
a hoverboard, and he would just float around the city with his hands and waving his hands at people. It was amazing.
Oh,
speaking of somebody who has as much money as Jesus, Hal Steinbrenner.
yeah. So Hal,
Yeah.
he made comments this week.
He did.
And like a lot of people in Jesus, a lot of people didn't believe Hal. So Hal made comments regarding Judge's contract, Joey Gallo, the whole nine. He did a brief interview with the press. I think they said it was like 18 minutes or something. And basically, Mike, what Hal said is he's got no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets when it comes to Judge and not making a bigger offer than the 7-year, 213.5. It's important to add the 0.5 million extension. And he said he's not worried. We have a couple months till the season ends, and hopefully we can get together by then. What I heard, and I don't know if you heard the same thing, was, oh man, we gotta lock this guy up.
Yeah.
We're a little worried here.
Yeah, I would be slightly worried. I mean, like, look, the offer wasn't terrible. It wasn't Aaron Judge's offer. I mean, it was like if I was like, oh, I'll give you $3 for it, and you're like, nah, I'll pass. All right, man, talk to you later. Like they really, I don't know. I mean, shout outs to Judge for believing in himself, not taking in the easy route, and obviously he's performing in a way that he's gonna get paid. But I mean, everybody's got that take. The take of his Joey Gallo take was adorable.
Oh
Adorable.
God.
And
he didn't even sound like a Steinbrenner when he said it. That's what disappoints me about this interview,
yeah.
is because like Hank or George would have been so blunt about all of that. Hal said, I still expect good things from, I'm sorry, no, he said, quote, I still expect great things from Gallo.
Yeah.
It's like, have you been watching baseball, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's a great thing? In my eyes, it'd be a great thing if he could draw a walk or something. He can't even do that. He's been striking out.
He used him as a pinch
every
runner
time.
the other day.
Like, what is a great, he's just, he did have one good thing to say, and it wasn't even about the Yankees. It was about the Mets.
There you go.
He said that the Mets thriving is a good thing, and that had to make you a little bit happy.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's a huge moneymaker. I mean, end of July, we're playing you guys for 4 games, and it's going to be exciting. So I think it's great for the city of New York. I think it's great for even this station. Hence why Mr. Sean Brace gave us a shot to do this. Mets and Yankees are thriving, and he said, hey, well, it's time to bring these 2 boys in. So I agree with Hal on that, only because it is a good thing. It's a good thing for my mental state. It's a good thing for my fan base. And it's a good thing to have those meaningful games. And whereas like before, if it mattered more to us than you, because as a Met fan, it was the only thing you had to really hang your hat on in some of these years. I remember Matt Harvey pitching against you guys. We all went, all the brothers and us went, and Harvey pitched a gem and we won, but Matt turns around and looks at me. He's like, yeah, you're going to lose the next 3 though. Like, so enjoy it. And he was right. So it's just, so there was only a few things to enjoy. Now there's a lot to enjoy.
Man. And Subway Series coming up in a few weeks. As long as things kind of run par for the course, it should be a really good game. Next up, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about Ohtani. Could he be the first ever Cy Young and MVP award winner? And we have this week's Brace Yourself. A nice little, our little take on what the boss said this week that we're going to dive into. That's our take next on The Divide. You're listening to Fox Sports The Gambler.
One is a Mets fan, the other is a Yankees fan. Together, they make the perfect show. It's The Divide with Mike and Corey right here on The Gambler.
I do love. He's starting to grow on me.
Yeah,
We do make the perfect show.
It makes me
I
excited
can
every
toot
time
my
I hear
horn.
that man's voice.
That's perfect show. Let's talk almost perfect player, or at least so far, Ohtani.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani. Let's figure out. Let's talk. Can he be the first player to also win Cy Young and MVP? Because the numbers look like he might.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it just because of what he's doing, right? So I think he could garner enough votes in the Cy Young. MVP should be a cakewalk, in my opinion. I mean, obviously you're the most valuable player on the field. You're pitching every 5 days, and you're smashing on the field as well. So granted, the team he's playing for is pretty awful, and I always felt that in the MVP scenario, it shouldn't be just about the individual player. It should be how valuable they are. And I don't understand how you could be an MVP and have not get your team at least to the playoffs. So that would be my only strike against him, which says a lot. But yeah, Ohtani is sick, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, and he's having a better season than he had last year, or at least he's projected to.
Mhm.
Now, last year, he won the MVP last year, Silver Slugger last year. What other awards did he get? He was All-Star last year. So I think, he's kind of writing his destiny here. And as long as he stays, healthy and can continue to produce, I don't see why he can't. Even with it depends on. I guess we'll see the finals for Cy Young in the future. But I think even if his numbers, it's the Cy Young
he
is
just has
such.
I think he gets that pass though. If he
You would
keeps his
think,
ERA,
but some of these writers, man, they're
Yeah.
just.
Well, also there's been clear Cy Young winners that are just like insane. Like they have, pocket change as a ERA, and look at DeGrom's years. I think he was below 1 twice,
And it was
so it's just like scenarios like that could end up. But he's 8-4 right now. He's gonna win 15 games? I would assume.
should.
Yeah, he should. He's healthy, and like I said, he can hit. It's an insane type of player. And,
What's the biggest threat? What's the biggest threat for him though? Like, so he's on his way to doing another 40-20 season. He's probably in the lead right now for AL MVP. Like, what's more likely to happen? Him winning the Cy Young or the MVP? Because to me, the only thing in the way of him getting both is Aaron Judge getting 60+ home runs because his team is winning, right? The fact that the Angels are not winning is probably going to be held against him in some form or fashion, no?
Yeah, Cy Young, I would say, unless Justin Verlander's sick right now. I don't even understand what that man's doing.
Steroids.
Yeah,
He's
probably.
doing
I don't
steroids.
know. Kate Upton. No. That's pure jealousy out of my mouth right there. But anyway, he's having a remarkable year. He's 11-3, a 2.0 ERA. That's a guy that I could see taking this away from Ohtani in the Cy Young race. And like you said,
Judge.
dude, there's a ton of guys that you could argue MVP, and that's what's exciting. I mean, look at that whole AL East. You could argue anybody over there.
True.
So and it's just so I don't know, but it's cool to think about.
It is, and yeah, the biggest downside to Ohtani right now is his team is just not winning. And
Yeah.
it goes back to what we've said in weeks past of, you got Trout and Ohtani that are sad to say, but fair to say, throwing their careers away on a ball club that just can't get it together over how many years? It's like, how do you have two of the best players in baseball and you can't win games?
And you also have Noah Syndergaard. But
Wow. So let's take it to this week's Brace Yourself. This is going to be the second week that we do it. This is where we take something the boss says in the middle of the week, and we kind of flip it on him and judge him a little bit.
We could have cut this up to make him in hot water with his wife.
Well, we would never do that.
We would never do that.
Never do
but we
that.
could have done that. So
here it is.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the first. We're gonna react, and then we'll get his little cleanup, let's call it, after.
They reunited. And July 4th, dare I say, The fireworks were flying above Michael Rubin's castle up there in the Hamptons. Beautiful party held by Michael Rubin, one that he had to leave because his girlfriend apparently was on stage and she fell flat on her face and had to go to the emergency room. Rubin had to leave his own party. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm leaving my own party. Just saying. All due respect to my lovely wife, but I'm sure there's friends there that could take her. Do I really have to leave this party? You got 1,000,001 friends here. I can't leave my own party. But Michael Rubin, credit to him, he did. Is that fair or foul?
All right. So what Sean was painting was Michael Rubin, billionaire, former stakeholder in the Sixers and the Devils, amongst other things. He's a big e-commerce guy. He's partnered philanthropists on a lot of different type of thing. He was one of the guys that got Meek Mill, Philly's own Meek Mill, out of jail, or one of the big contributors to getting him out of jail. He had a crazy 4th of July party, as he always does in the Hamptons. And I'm talking, he asked his friends to come and perform. And by the way, his friends, Drake, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Travis Scott, Lil Uzi, 21 Savage, just the list goes on and on and on.
So C-listers, basically.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, no big list.
This huge party, his girlfriend or wife, they just had a child together, Camille Fisher. No, Fischel.
Okay.
Swanee, Swin, Samsonite.
Great at pronouncing names.
Yeah, right. Camille Fisher. Fischel. I don't know, dude. Whatever. Anyway, girlfriend face planted, dancing on the stage. It was like towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
She had to get rushed to the hospital. I have a picture on my computer, dude. Her face caught her. Bro, look at this.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So it was towards the end of the night. What Brace was referring to is Rubin left the party with his wife and accompanied her to the hospital. What Sean's take is, and you'll hear it next, is if he's Michael Rubin, he's not leaving the party. He's either sending someone, he's staying at the party to tend to his guests.
Right.
But let's play the next clip.
Well, no. What would you do? I want to know. Would you go with your wife to seeing that picture now? Like, it kind of, would you go with your wife, or are you staying at the party?
If I'm a billionaire
or regular Corey and billionaire Corey?
I think both situations I leave and I go with my wife.
You go? Wow.
2 reasons. If I'm a billionaire, dude, you have 1 million people at this party. It's actually like a little less than 400 people at this party, right? So think of it as a really large wedding, right?
Yeah.
You have people, you have caterers, you have everybody taking care of it. You have house, what do they call them? Workers, maid, butler, whatever. You don't need to be at this house with all these people. You have plenty of people. And then on the flip side, if you're not Michael Rubin and you're just an average Joe like we are, and you hold a party, like when you're having a barbecue and we have our niece or nephew performing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and our wife slips and busts their head on stage while they're doing it.
You got to watch the kids.
It's all family there. So you're leaving regardless, and someone will take, if it's that serious, like I'm looking at a picture of her right now, guys, and she's in a neck brace. So I don't know if that's precautionary or what, but I'm looking at her face, dude, and her face caught the fall. Like,
I want to know if she's like
face planted.
I want to know if she's like a performer, or if this was like Will Ferrell in Old School, where she took over the stage, like, move over, Drake. Like, we're going drinking.
All it says is that she's a former model. I don't know if she's a former model / dancer, but I think she was just having a really good time. She was,
she did not brace herself.
She did not brace herself at all. What's your take?
So my take is I'm probably staying home either way. Right, because somebody's got to watch over our child.
You're not accompanying. Your
I'm
wife
not
to
going with. What am I going to do?
You're just giving her the insurance card, and be
unless I thought she was going to die or something. Dude, yeah. And in reverse, I don't think either one of our wives are coming with us if that happens, especially if it was after a few too many. Now, granted, if she didn't have a safe way to get there, yeah, I'm going to go with her. If she's if an ambulance is there or something like that, and it's concerning, I'd probably go with her. But if it's something not life-threatening, I'm probably staying at the party to keep the ship down. That's my opinion. And I think they're not coming with us. I'm probably going with you if you face planted. Yeah.
I don't know. I disagree. I'm going no matter what.
Okay.
Like, come on, dude, stay at home and watch the kids or accompany. Like, I'd rather sit at a hospital than watch kids any day of
I
the
would
week.
not. Well, I'm not even saying the kids. I'm saying the party or whatever. I don't know why we ruin both of our nights in a hospital if we don't have to.
Fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think she would try to convince me not to go. But this is Sean's take on what Rich Sean would do versus current Sean.
I would leave if it was normal Sean Brace, but if I'm Michael Rubin, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving my own party.
No. I would say you would have to stay if you were normal.
Correct.
Sean Brace.
Oh, you're saying
if you were because you would have to still. You're still housing guests, and you can't just leave guests in your house.
I don't know about
You can't just leave. No. You can't leave guests in your house unless they leave and say, "All right, we're all out of here."
No, you keep the party going.
Ended.
I got friends; they can handle the business. No,
you won't just leave your friends in your house, like 30, 40 people in your house. No way.
I disagree with that.
No way.
Normal Sean Brace is going to the hospital with my wife. Michael Rubin, Sean Brace.
Michael Rubin can have people take care of whatever's going on. He's probably got catering. He's probably got everybody handling the show. Right. He can go, and then like whenever he's back, he's back.
Wow, we see things different there. Interesting.
I half agree. But I think even if you have a party for the average Joe, you got all family at the house. You got to worry about anybody watching anything.
This was Sean Brace on the Daily Ticket with his new segment, Best Week Ever, right after he announced that with John Jansen that Devin Booker is having the greatest week ever. I mean, the man has pretty much $500,000 now when you break it all down from Nike to his new contract to NBA 2K23 to everything that's going on in that man's life. It's just he's hitting home runs every which way. So now he's dating a Kardashian again. So watch the Daily Ticket right here on Fox Sports The Gambler.
That's right. John,
Monday through Friday, 3 to 6.
We're going to have the best week ever in a couple weeks.
We are.
We have the Todd Frazier Celebrity Beer Pong Tournament. And guys, it is growing. We've been touching on this. Check our social for details. We don't have much time, but I'll go through real quick. Sponsors exploded in the last week. Thanks to you all. We got Eat Clean Bro, 1-800 Autoland, United Pool Serve. What is it? PC Richards. There's a million more we're going to list on our socials. Links posted to all of our socials on how to get involved yourself. If you want to attend, if you just want to donate, it all goes to the Toms River Field of Dreams, and we'll have interviews with everybody there. I think Frankie Egger is going to be there, Nikki Cass, and of course Todd Frazier, and much, much more. Check our socials at The Divide Live on Instagram and Twitter, The Divide Live on Facebook, and dividelive.com, or give us a shot.network.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.